Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 465. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Yo.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yay.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners, viewers, to 465 of the Moviecast. We've got a topic for you guys tonight. We talked about it before, I think. We're going to revisit it, sort of. Well, we brought it up during a conversation about what movies I think should be remade. But in light of the news last week being reported on our podcast about The Princess Bride possibly being rebooted and remade, what movies should not be remade is going to be the topic tonight. And we're going to throw a couple out there for you guys to hear what we think. Of course, we would love to what you guys would think. If you can just write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net, and we'd love to hear from you about that. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. Let's kick it off with what we've been up to. Corey, you and I, we went and saw It 2. Part 2.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Finally went to the theaters and saw it. And,
it was a thing.
It was it.
Yeah, I heard so things about it.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I don't know if it's a testament to the movie that all we talked about all the way home was how amazing they cast the actors compared to the kids. Like,
yeah.
they did a fantastic job with that. Like, holy shit. Like the kid, Mike from Stranger Things is going to look like Bill Hader when he gets older. There's no question in my mind. They did a good job making them look like each other. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I have to give them credit there. But overall, like, I felt like, for me, and it's weird because for me, and Corey, I'm not sure about your opinion to this, but for me, it felt like this was like, it felt almost forced to be made. But I know there's a story there. But it felt like this was being made because of how good the first one did. I don't know, how did you come from this?
No, I can understand that criticism because it is kind of like a huge time jump, and there's this like disconnect from the story that came before, and it like ends in a good way with the first one.
Yeah.
So I can understand that for sure. Some of my criticisms, and I think we talked about this as well, is it was like such an isolated film. Like there's nothing that happened that really mattered outside of these core characters. And it seems so weird because like Derry was like a character in the first movie, almost the town, and in this one it felt like it didn't matter. Like Derry wasn't even a thing in this movie. Like it was like, oh, we got to come back home, and but like it didn't really seem like that important, really, as far as consequences and things like that. So it just made it feel isolated and like claustrophobic almost in a way, which was a bad thing, not necessarily in a good way.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like, the clown wasn't scary.
Nope.
That was kind of the biggest thing. Like, because like you said, the impact is done, and it's like, I guess from the first one you had that impact about. Although when the clown was what he was doing best, hunting children, that was
Pennywise,
scary. Yeah, Pennywise. That was scary in this movie. But there's so few and far between instances of that it just, it just didn't hit.
Yeah,
it
was disappointing overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see the score it's getting.
I don't think
definitely.
it's doing as well, right?
No,
It's not doing as well as the first one. The first one came out at such a great time. It really nailed the whole coming of age kids thing, that nostalgia factor as well, like with Stranger Things and stuff. So I think there's a lot of that going for it. And
so
the kid
this one was a
actors were
time
fantastic.
jump?
Yeah,
It was a huge time jump.
Huge time jump. I mean, the 30.
It feels like that was probably a mistake then.
It was
right?
a 27-year jump.
Well, I mean, that's what the book is. I mean, they're following the story there.
Fuck the book.
Yeah, I think.
No, I mean, I agree. You don't need to follow it if you want to make the best movie you can. But
because I mean, did they leave it open to an It 3 then, or no?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess you can always
make
it. You can always make a third.
It's done.
You can always make a third. I guess.
You can force things if you want, but
I don't think that's the plan here. So I don't know. I just unless there was a post-credit thing we didn't stay for. So.
And the other thing, we didn't stay for it. But the other thing was what I thought was kind of weird, and it's part of the story. It's just like they all forgot about what happened. It's like why though?
Yeah. Yeah, I had some questions in the beginning of the movie now, thinking back to the story and about how everything unfolded, why there was a decision made by a character in the beginning of that movie who by the way, was spot on casted. What was that guy, the weird kid from the first movie, the one...
Stanley?
Stanley, thank you. Stanley, spot on. I mean, the best casting.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, literally had the mannerisms and
Well,
the
they
acting down.
all just like, again, like you have to. Like, it's amazing how well they did on casting these characters.
Yeah, they did an amazing job. But anyways, I feel like there was decisions by his character that I felt didn't make sense based on the story we got. So, but that's just me. Maybe that's the way it is in the book. I don't remember it, so I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, like, not so good. And I think that I don't know. I mean, the best thing I watched this weekend, and I can tell you this right now, and this was incredible, Mike. You're gonna love to hear this. There is a show on Boomerang called Guess Who's Scooby-Doo, or Scooby-Doo Guess Who. I can't remember how you say it, but that's in the title. Brand new series, modeled directly after the classic show. Like, it looks, they're starting to do the animation like that again. They've got, like, the voice actors are kind of mimicking those old, like, this is another remake essentially. But it was, Batman weekend, so they released their Batman episode this week. And guess who voiced Batman?
Is it actually Kevin
It
Conroy?
was actually Kevin Conroy. And guess who voiced the Joker?
They had Hamill for that too.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. Too bad WB Montreal can't do something like that.
I know, it was insane. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got back. We had a hell of a long Saturday night, and I got back at like 3 a.m. in the room. And like, when you get back, like, from unfortunately being at the hospital, like, you can't go right to sleep. So I'm like, I'm gonna put something on. I'm like, you know what? I got this email today to check out this Batman Guess Who Scooby-Doo thing. I'm like, let's check this. It's Batman Day, so I'm gonna check it out. It's not anymore at that point, but I'll check it out. And I'm like, kind of half paying attention at first, and all of a sudden I hear the voice. I'm like, holy fuck! They got, I was like, I can't believe it. And then later on, you're like, holy shit, Mark Hamill. So it was unbelievable. So I would suggest checking it out if you can find it anywhere. I mean, modeled directly after the classic Scooby-Doo. So
Nice.
That's the of note thing, really. So
I'll just wrap up mine with about two. Speaking of Batman Day, Batman Hush animated movies on DCE, DC whatever streaming thing. So I watched that because the comic's phenomenal, and I'd say don't watch this.
I heard they changed things in
it's like. Sometimes I don't understand why they make these choices. Like, I'm watching this because I'm a fan of the comic, and I love the story and how it, progresses and the reveals of certain things that happen. But when you make an animated movie and you take the most important pieces out and replace them with other pieces that don't make sense necessarily, it's like, why? Like, I can understand like making something different for people that want something different, but then don't call it Hush.
Well, are you describing Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3?
I mean, you could be, yeah. At the same time, like, it just sounds like Venom,
Yeah, it just sounds like it's the same reasons, Corey. I mean, it's we want these characters to be there.
It's not the same reasons.
It's not like a major character substitution in.
Well, no, I'm saying Hush is a major character.
Oh, sure he is. Yeah.
It's not. You're not saying. This is akin to being like...
they changed his character?
I'm just saying, like, the character Hush and, like, the reveals of who Hush is and what that character is to the story, they changed it completely. Like, so it's not Hush anymore.
Oh.
Like,
so what's
the point? Spoiler alert.
Well, no, I mean, it has to be explained. He can't talk about this without explaining that.
Yes.
I get it.
I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying, like, they're changing it enough that it's, like, basically akin to being, like, Darth Vader's not Luke's father anymore. Like, why would you do that?
Steve Vader pretended to be his dad.
Vader.
It's just stupid. And, like, if you're going to make a movie about a character, a iconic character, give him, do him justice, at least. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what's up with Warner Brothers Animation. They have not been doing good.
They've been dropping the ball. Like, Harley Quinn was a piece of shit.
They were in such a good line of
Killing Joke.
Wasn't there supposed to be a Harley Quinn like TV series or animated series?
There is. It still is coming.
Maybe.
Oh, it's still coming?
They just previewed it.
I feel like we heard about that forever ago now.
Whatever call it. What's the DC?
I mean, when it comes to like Harley Quinn, I'm sure there's something in the works for everything.
There's always
No, it'll be out. Early next year. That one.
Unfortunately, the Hush is not
That sucks.
not as good as the
Because
comic.
I keep seeing it. I'm waiting it to get to like $14.99 in the store or something. Because I like to
You
collect
got
those.
the DC streaming thing?
Oh yeah. But I like to collect. I was gonna say like I like to collect the.
Oh, the collecting.
Yeah, the way the artwork is, and I like the artwork on that. So I'm like, I'm not spending full price on this. I actually I'm hoping Black Friday it's like a $10 deal kind of thing, and then I'll pick it up because I think that could be. But now I'm hearing this, I'm like, this kind of it sucks,
The artwork is sort of an issue too, because I see like ads for this movie all the time, like just like popping up on social media, and they say like the classic comic book, and now live, and now in a movie, and they have like the Jim Lee like perfect art,
Yeah.
next to whatever they're doing with this, and it's just like that's not doing this movie any favors.
Yeah, I got the. I mean, that's the thing.
It definitely looks worse than some of the other stuff they've done.
The DVD, I mean, the Blu-ray artwork it looks very, very good. It looks like Jim Lee stuff, so it's like it's really cool. I know he didn't do it. Maybe he did. I don't know, but I don't think he did. But I know the show doesn't look like that, which is disappointing. So I don't know. All right, Mike, what have you been watching?
Nothing real, just some YouTube videos.
No, YouTube doesn't count.
I know. Well,
I watch YouTube
that's
stuff.
That's why I said nothing real.
No, I watch this. I watch like bowling videos all the time. But Tony, what have you been watching?
Nothing.
Nothing. All right.
Not a zip.
Box office time. Downtown Abbey at number 1, 31.1 million.
Downton Abbey,
Downtown.
not downtown.
I always refer to it as downtown, but you're right. It is Downton Abbey. Sorry, everybody. Downton Abbey, number 1. Ad Astra, number 2. Wow, Rambo was right behind Ad Astra. That did not open that well. Ad Astra, but
Did we think it would?
no.
too weird.
It Chapter 2 and Hustlers are your top
Titles
5.
matter.
So they were all pretty even except for Downton Abbey, which did 31.1 million. So not much to talk about right now.
Great for that.
Opening this week, Abominable. That's about it. It's not really much to see, anyways.
That's a kids movie.
That's the kids movie. That's why I think it'll do okay. Because there has not been much kids movies recently, so they're due
Probably.
for a movie theater run. So I know that for me here, we're going to see that, and it because we've been like, okay, where are we going to take her to see? And it's just there's been really nothing. So, but
Make sure she goes to the bathroom beforehand.
God, yes, I know.
Last time.
Oh yeah. See, yeah.
And no apple juice. What is it?
No apple juice. That's the culprit. For update for those wondering, that was the culprit. Yeah. Anyways, opening up soon, The Joker. Let's kick it off with that bit of news. I was reading a lot of controversial reviews. There's a lot of controversy about this movie coming out now. Not only should it exist, that's our controversy, but actually, I guess, should it exist, but for different reasons. Like, does this need to glorify the Joker as it seems to do for some people? Is that something that we need in the theater?
Well, you saw that news about Aurora, the theater, right? Not going to show it?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Oh, no, I didn't see that either. That's interesting.
Yeah, so...
Is that real?
It's real. They're not going to have that movie playing in their theater.
I
and
don't
if you
blame
guys
them,
don't
though.
know, that's
I don't
the
blame
theater that
Yeah.
someone came in and shot it up during a Batman Dark Knight Rises, which was, I think, the Joker. But so it's got... I don't know. I think that, again, I've been very hard on this movie because I feel, why does it need to exist when this character is so tied to another character and they exist because of each other in a way? So I've been hard on it for that. And at the same time now, I'm just like, the more I look at it, it's like, just whatever. Just, if he wants to do his thing, let it exist. Do his thing. But I don't necessarily care. I always want people to, basically look at it and decide for themselves, like, this is not what I want, and this is not what I think we should be getting, and speak with their wallets, I guess.
Yeah. I think that, for me, I want to see this kind of story, but I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what the story is going to finish like to glorify the character, like if it does or if it.
I just wish that we as society could take something and not turn it into something else. It's like,
yes, that's the problem.
Just let stuff exist and be its own thing, and but you can't. It's like, it's amazing. You can't do that. So.
I don't know. We've had our own conversations about this forever on who's the culprit, who's at fault. Video game violence. We had a conversation about that. But ultimately, it's like people can experience things differently, and certain people should not go see that, and those that's it. But I don't know. We'll see. That's coming out soon. It's getting mixed reviews.
It's coming out like glowing. You said it was guaranteeing an Oscar, Jim.
Well, it's supposed to be, according to the awarded one, but it's at 76 fresh, I think, which is it's fresh, but they're not certifying it fresh because there's still a lot of time before it comes out. So that score, it has to be like a 75 up, right? I think their score is. And it's at 76 right now. So we'll see. If it goes up, it'll certify it. If not, it'll go down, obviously, and it won't be certified fresh. I don't know if they're holding... I don't know. They've commented on this Rotten Tomatoes saying they're not holding it back purposely because of the controversy of the movie. They're holding it back because there's not enough consensus reviews to give this certification.
I just wonder what the reviews are holding it back for. It might be the same reason, though.
It could be. The
reviews that are gathering.
Yeah.
I think it's a slippery slope when you start saying, this piece of fiction that could inspire real world violence, because you could say that about so many things. Really,
a lot. I mean, look at the Catcher in the Rye. The Catcher in the Rye, right? Wasn't that like
the Sopranos glorify like gangster mentality.
I went really old school.
Godfather. How about what this is based on? Taxi Driver, where he actually is painted as the part of the movie is he's painted as more of a hero by the town than he should have been in reality, even though he was the protagonist. So it's a weird thing. I think it's a lot of this climate. People are very worried about things, but I don't like that whole narrative at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't disagree. All right, other news. It's Eager, right? Bob Eager. Let's say his name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Admits that they released Star Wars movies way too fast. Big shock there.
Just talking about Solo in Code.
Well, Solo and I mean even Rogue One, they're kind of all too bunched together. So I feel like that movie. I think Rogue One had better promise, but their ending they chose to go with didn't work. So that was the problem with Rogue One. But Solo just didn't work because it didn't need to exist. I'm sorry, but
Wait, what? It didn't need to exist? Didn't you just say you don't like that there? That things don't need to exist?
Well, did I say that? I don't know.
I don't know. I
think I may have done. I don't know. Like it's, yeah. I don't know if I said that, but I don't know. If I said that, but, and I just go and contradict myself if I said that, but I don't think I did. But if I did, sorry. I just feel like
not to mention, I don't know where your source was on this. He said we might have. He didn't actually say 100%. They definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think and when you say too fast, like, does he mean the amount of movies or how quickly one came out after the other? Because I don't think it would have been too fast if it was just a year between each one. Like, I think that would have been fine. Except one came out in December, one came out in May. It's like
that's true.
It was way too quick, and that, in my opinion, I think
Solo.
It would have been better if they had like the year. It's like every December you get a Star Wars movie. That's not a terrible thing to do. Like we've had how many Marvel movies? Like it's like you can do it if you just deviate from the normal Star Wars stuff and make them different.
But they didn't. That was the thing.
Right, and I mean, and that's why I don't think necessarily it's too fast. I just think it's the wrong direction.
Too furious.
Sorry. I don't know. I don't.
I said it again. Star Wars does not lend itself to as it is right now. It obviously can if it's written well, but it just doesn't lend itself to a spin-off Han Solo gets one and
let's
call it gets one,
like a cinematic universe essentially.
Yeah, cinematic universe. Like they just didn't do the correct type of stuff for that, but that's all fine. As soon as episode 9 comes out, we can wash ourselves,
close the book on this, and
bury the past
Skywalker saga, and throw it
bring in some fresh stories. I mean, November we're gonna get something different. I think it's hopefully
Disney Plus. Mandalorian looks really good. I keep seeing stuff for that, and I'm actually very excited for that show. So, really,
and I'm glad they didn't do the Boba Fett. Like, you didn't need to put Boba Fett's name on. That's what just do a bounty hunter. You didn't have to. So Han Solo.
Well, it shows just a show about his armor.
But it shows there's so many. There's this huge universe. Why do we have to get the same characters in every single thing they do? Let's get something new. That's what The Mandalorian does. That's why the Star Wars cartoons were so popular, with the exception of Clone Wars was popular, but that's an exception. But it had Ahsoka in it. That's why. You get these original characters, and people.
That's why.
Yes. She was the best character in that show.
Yeah, but
She's
that's not why
definitely the most popular
that's
character.
not
in
why
the show, dude.
people tuned into that show originally. That's why that show exists.
That show existed because of her. It would have been canceled earlier.
It continued to do very well because of how popular she was. I think is a big reason for it.
Yeah. So, and you got Rebels, which was good as well, very good as well. And I don't know how the new one was, but whatever.
I don't think I ever watched how Rebels ended.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Not a good ending. Not like the Clone Wars had. Well, the Clone Wars didn't have a finish, so I'm hoping that we have a good ending from that. But all right, what else we got here? We got a couple casting news coming through right now for like rumors for Batman, the Batman. Jonah Hill in line for a role. They haven't said what it is yet, but he's apparently
rumored to be the Riddler.
I've heard the Riddler because the everybody was like, oh, the Penguin. Everybody's like, whoa, like why you got to typecast him?
He's stout.
He's not stout anymore. He's pretty trim now, actually.
He could be, yeah.
So
I mean, he can go both ways.
Yeah.
He's not like Seth Rogen. I think is more like, heavier chunk. Like, I would say, like, because Jonah Hill can be thinner, but he at the same time he can be also pretty thick.
Do you think? I mean, they do that classic villain, or do they even go something crazier, like the Mad Hatter? Do they do something even off the wall?
They will never do like a C-string villain.
Come
on, dude.
It might. And if it works, it works. That might work. I don't know.
I don't know if they want to go Mad Hatter unless they're looking to go dark, because he's kind of like vaguely a pedophile.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The other one is Jeffrey Wright, up for Jim Gordon. So Jeffrey Wright's from the HBO show, the Android, the Westworld. Isn't he?
Right. Oh, I was thinking of
Isn't he from there?
He's the guy. He's gonna be the voice in What If, and he was in Bond Casino Royale.
Yes, he was. But I got him from Westworld. That's his big, like, it got popular from that too. So, let's see. The Emmys happened. Does anybody care?
Nope.
Nobody.
One thing I will mention.
Relatively speaking, no one did ratings-wise either.
The only thing I would like to mention is that a bunch of the Game of Thrones people that got nominated had to actually not put themselves up for nomination, because the people did not offer them for a nomination. So they actually just did it, they submitted themselves essentially.
You can thank
Brienne of Tarth. She submitted herself. I don't even know. I didn't look. All I know is she had to submit herself. Theon Greyjoy guy had to submit himself, and they all got they got nominated for. Yeah.
I hate
about didn't best TV series or something like that, or
they won best drama.
Ugh. Well, I mean, it caused the most drama.
Syrian one. I know
it did cause the most drama. Yes, that's true. So, I know Kit Harington came on record saying that the season was the best thing. It ended the way it should have. But of course, what is he going to say? It was shit.
He did. Done. Wash his hands. It's done.
10 years from now, he could, but not this close. So
he said it in an interview already.
Yeah. No, he didn't. I think it was a lack of saying things. It was more of what he didn't say that everybody was like, oh.
No, he got asked.
Did he?
If you could summarize Game of Thrones final season one word, what would it be? And he said disappointing.
Oh, I remember that video actually now. Okay.
And the guy laughed. It was like,
We got that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Lastly, and I didn't get to see the trailer today. The trailer dropped for InfiniteCrisis for the crossover event coming on the CW. But news are we've got our Erica Durant's Lois Lane, the classic character, Mike. The classic is back, reprising her role, as is Tom Welling playing Clark Kent in Superman Smallville.
I'm honestly, I know the show's only been off the air for 6-ish years or 7 now. I'm kind of worried what they look like.
Tom Welling's a little bit big. He's kind of a little older,
filled out.
Bigger. Yeah, that's the way to say it. Filled out.
You think he's gonna get slimmed down for this appearance?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, he's not fat or anything like that. He just filled out. He's not a 20-year-old anymore.
This is a Rosenbaum. Is it Michael Rosenbaum? That's the Lex Luthor?
He was 35 by the time that show ended, but
yeah, I mean now he's 40 or something. So
yeah, the guy who played Lex Luthor.
He looks fine. It's just I don't know what Eric Durant looks like.
I don't know what she looks like either.
I think we have an infamous episode.
I mean,
yeah, I know.
She was a butterface anyways.
Yeah, I expect some plastic surgery on her. To be honest.
I'm more
at this age. No, at this age, I expect her to have had some work done.
Everybody's watching the video of this on YouTube. Just Tony's reaction right there was just it's like, oh, yep, that got said. But no, I don't disagree. Like, we have our most famous episode from this. We don't know what they look like, but it's just it's hilarious that she's back to reprising her role. I liked her in that character, sort of, but that was when I was like, they could just change this story and just let him end up with Lana. That's why I was like, when I was watching that show, that's all I wanted anyways. I'm like, that they should just forget Lois Lane's story and just, you know, but whatever.
I watched that show. I guess I'm a fan for almost
11
the
years.
majority of those
10
years that was on. It was an awful show.
Oh, yeah. No, it was good. For the first, like, seasons 2 through 5, I think were fun.
The best thing it did was to try to make Lex Luthor more sympathetic and have him sort of be childhood friends. I thought that was the coolest thing they did. Everything else was just treading water for 10 years.
Who, by the way, turned down the role because they called him like a couple days ago, asked him if he wanted to be on the show with no script, no offer for money, and he turned it down.
He probably didn't want to do his skull cap again. That was like a big issue for him for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's not going to be in it, so... There's enough characters.
2001 to 2011. So
I mean, the amount of characters they have, you got to figure they're going to make like a 30-second cameo each. So, I don't know. But that's it for the news. We can get into our topic.
Let's do it.
Movies that should not be remade. This was obviously in light of the news last week about Princess Bride, and that is the first one we'll just discuss for me. The Princess Bride is a movie, guys, that, I'm sorry, but should not be remade. It's one of those like classic movies that it holds up just fine. I'm not saying that it's not campy special effects, but it was supposed to be, and so it just there's no reason to remake that kind of that movie. And so I know that's like the most obvious one because that's what we talked about last week. But I just say it right now.
Like I said last week, I also think it's very tied to the time it was from.
Sure.
I know that's in some way that contradicts what you just said, but again, it's just like all these big stars from the 80s in their movie.
Yeah. I don't know. So, what do you got, Corey? Give me one here. What do you think?
Well, I want to preface this by saying, because last week I said I don't care. If you want to make a movie, remake it. I have the one that like I cherished, you know, and I'll watch that instead. Like, go ahead and ruin it if you want to. That's up to you. But I have I have that one already. So these movies that I listed here, I just think are perfect in what they are doing and don't necessarily need to be remade, because the purpose of remaking a movie, I think, is to try to like bring it up to the modern age, to make it look better, to
make
like
money.
Exactly, and obviously to make money. But these movies can do that themselves. They don't necessarily need to.
Yes.
So my first one is
Shawshank
Redemption.
Yeah, that's a movie
that
why
is like,
yeah.
I think that movie is almost like a perfect movie for me.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking, like, why would you remake that? Like,
I don't even want to say some of these things now because you're going to give someone an idea somewhere.
after our GameStop thing,
right.
I don't know.
No, it's the casting was fantastic. The little changes they made to the story from the book to the movie were great, and just everything about that movie I've loved so much. Like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
All right, Mike, give me one here.
See, I don't know, because I kind of think all movies shouldn't be remade, pretty much.
I mean, that's you're entitled to make that statement. I just like
see to me, like, if a movie has interesting enough like characters or a world, make it a sequel or a spinoff. I feel like a remake implies that the previous world is either too messy or not relevant anymore.
Well,
so give us one then, Mike, that you.
Well, and then let me wait. Before we move on,
Here, okay,
you know
what? I'll say this. As I came to mind, Back to the Future. I don't want to remake it Back to the
Absolutely.
Future.
Absolutely. But I was gonna say, like, The Last Starfighter is a movie that I loved as a kid, and I would love to see that remade. Like, I feel like that's a movie that should be remade.
We're not talking about that, Jim.
I'm just giving you, as Mike made that statement, I was trying to give that before he gave his one he doesn't want to see remade. But yes, but I do agree with you. There are movies. That's what I'm trying to say. There are movies that would do well with a remake. I think it could do well. But anyways,
I agree. There's just some movies that should not age well, and they're just aren't as easily. I don't know. absorbed by today's audience,
Like
for
Tron.
better or for worse.
Tron was very
Sure,
popular
yeah.
back then, and that was a movie that, like, you know, it was it's so hard to watch nowadays. You know, there's a whole bunch of those classic movies like Krull. I don't know if they can remake that, but I
semi-remake sequel.
So yeah, it did. But I'm just saying, like, there's movies out there. There are some that could use that. Like Tony just said, there are movies that just
I suppose
a great idea,
I
but
guess
just
more
don't age well.
obscure movies. Maybe?
Yeah. Yes. That might be it. But I agree with you. Back to the Future. Tony, what do you got for one?
Jeez, so many.
There are.
I'm trying to think. Back to the Future is the one I wanted to talk about the most because
I agree.
I think
It's
that's,
just such a
that's
classic.
a danger too. I feel like that's a possibility.
I
feel
can-
like they
yeah.
might.
I mean, I
talk
can give
about
you.
that
You want to think about
in
one
a
here?
few years.
I can go again real quick here. I mean, you can say because they.
No, I'll say real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll say real quick. The Matrix. I love that movie so much that I don't trust anybody that either owns the property anymore or is involved with
the
to
creator.
even touch that again.
The creator
Right,
still owns
exactly.
it, yeah.
Like I even said, like when they were like, "Oh, Matrix 4, by the way," which got drowned out by whatever else news was out that week. I'm just like, "Nah, we'll see what happens." Like the first movie was just like flash in the pan, like perfection, and I don't think they'll ever get that lightning
And
in a
it came at
bottle
a
again.
time when technology was right at the point where they used such like stuff we've never seen before.
Yeah,
You
so
can't get that
it
anymore.
ages pretty well. You know, I mean, it's not perfect, but it ages pretty well. You have to know when
Well,
the time
that's what
is.
happens when you do like wire, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
waifu instead of
Yeah.
computer animated garbage like Scorpion King shit.
Yeah, and that's why Star Wars, you know, the originals still kind of they hold up because of that. But the
Yeah.
models, they
Oh,
use-
exactly. 2D sprites, baby.
I will say they've already tried to remake this already, and it's failed. The Karate Kid. This is why you don't remake that movie. First of all, it wasn't Karate Kid. That was Jackie Chan's movie with a kid who doesn't study karate. He's studying. I'm not sure. Huh? So I mean, I just shouldn't.
No,
have
yeah, I agree.
But that's a movie that I think holds up just fine. It's great. It's the '80s. He says a few times, but I just love that movie, and I don't want to.
Well, I
ever see it
mean,
remade.
look what they did when they continued the story instead of trying to remake it.
Yeah,
It was
that's what I'm
much
saying.
more
Like,
popular.
if you like,
Much
and, that's,
more
and I think that's what
engaging.
Mike. That's kind of what Mike said. Like, why reboot something? Why remake something when you could, if it's that good, continue the story. And Karate Kid's a good example of that. Actually, if you look at what YouTube's done with that series, it's fantastic. And I haven't seen season 2, and I've heard it's even better. So I have to go and check that out. But that's one I would say. Corey, what do you got? Come on.
Goonies.
Oh yeah.
I don't think-
Oh
I'll agree
yeah. Oh
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Definitely.
There's again, I think that's also like of the time, but like you had a perfect mixture of the coming of age story with the actors and
But see, they could do a sequel to that.
certain iconic characters that just wouldn't work today, I don't think.
I think you could do a sequel. I think you could with some of these characters back as their roles. I think you.
I
Could
mean, you
do
can
something.
continue it again. I was saying before, like I don't care if you want to remake something and do like call it Goonies or whatever, but I have my Goonies and I'm okay with it.
Yes, and it's such a great movie, which Amanda hasn't seen yet. I gotta show her. She's gotta watch Goonies. I'm sorry, but I just
What?
every time it comes up, I'm like, she
Who are
hasn't
you?
seen this movie yet. I know. So, all right, Mike, what else you got? Why don't you give me another one? You're gonna give us the one. Give us the main Christmas movie that you want to give us. Come on.
What? Die Hard?
Yeah. I thought that was like a gimme for you. There's no way you want to see that remade. There's no way you want to see that remade. And I
I feel
agree-
like
and I
the
agree
later
with you.
Die Hards kind of were like semi remakes of it.
I know, but it's a movie that shouldn't be. I think it fits. It works just fine today. It's one of those
Honestly,
classics.
I think that one. I mean, it is a classic. I wouldn't be as mad about that one because
Okay.
I feel like that premise is something you can do over
So
again.
let's see they remake it with. I'm trying to think of who.
I mean, they've already remade it a bunch of times with Passenger 57,
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Under Siege.
yeah.
I know.
It's,
The
it's
formula
like Die
works.
Hard on a plane.
I'm just
Die
saying,
Hard
I
on
mean,
a
literally-
boat.
I got a bunch of sequels out of that probably should not have existed. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be as upset with that one.
So they
Yeah.
literally they remake it with like Ashton Kutcher as John McClane. I don't know. I'm just pulling random names out.
Just the
No, it'd be
demi
Chris Pratt. Or...
It would be Chris Pratt.
Alright.
Yeah, it would be Chris Pratt. That's true. Good.
There we go. Indiana Jones, which they're gonna
Oh, yeah.
probably do.
Indiana Jones. They're not going to remake that. Well, they're continuing it. They're continuing that. That's a 5. They're making 5.
Yes. So.
So not going to get remade, but I agree that the Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark should never be remade. It's like
I think
special effects is not
anything
great.
where there's an actor so tied to a character again that you don't want to see a remake really with the new actor.
Yeah, it's hard to
What?
Uh-oh.
Corey, you froze.
imagine someone else.
You froze a second. What? It's hard to imagine someone else. There you go. We caught up.
Sorry.
You froze and then you caught up.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine someone else in those roles. Hold on, I might freeze again. Just
That's all right.
Keep going.
All right. Cancel those things. Tony, you're up. What do you got? Give me one.
I would say the original Alien. I think that movie is just so
because like
perfect.
That it's so
I just
good.
don't. Yeah.
Because you don't see it, and they don't.
Yeah, you don't
have to worry about the special effects. It's like perfect.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the special effects. I think all the plot line stuff, because it takes place in the future, and we're 30 years out since that, and it still holds up. Obviously, some of the stuff might look a little hokier than what modern interpretations of like futuristic spaceship works, but it's not like a deal breaker or anything.
No,
I just don't think you'd gain anything by remaking it either, unless they wanted to do like a new franchise or cinematic universe. Because here's the thing: I would love if the Alien Predator universe actually shaped up to be something good and decent, but under Fox, it just suffered. And
yeah.
What was it? Prometheus? That was such fucking dog shit. Alien Covenant, dog shit. I told you guys not to watch it too, didn't I?
I didn't. On your recommendation of not watching it, because I'm a huge Alien fan.
So what happened for that movie, in just my defense, was...
You've talked about this before, Jim. We know.
You gotta love when I start my conversation with that part. All right, I'm gonna give you another one that's actually could be remade. I'm gonna give you another one that could be remade, but I don't think should. Sandlot.
Oh, nice. That's on my list too.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think that'd be difficult to remake because kids don't like baseball anymore.
Well, it's one of those things too. It's like, for us, there's this nostalgia factor with certain movies that you just look at them, and that movie is just a representation of a point in my life that I want to cherish and remember.
Which was also a representation of a point in our parents' lives.
Yeah.
That was
when you mentioned Alien, I thought probably Jaws as well.
See, now I don't know about
part of this also for me is that ever since it came out, the oversaturation of shark movies ever since then for the last 40 years has been so much that I don't think anyone would want a Jaws remake at this point.
You know what though? No. I'm going to stop you there. I think they're going to remake that. I think they're going to. And I think
there's been attempts at shark movies.
No, but I think Jaws is going to get rebooted. I think that specifically is going to
need a bigger boat.
Yeah, I really think I can just see the marketing
see it being remade. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, that movie made people terrified to go to the ocean, the beach, back when that movie was released.
And that's what they have to
anything nowadays, you would just it'd have to go, and that's why stuff like Megalodon and whatnot, or Sharknado or whatever, all this stuff kind of went over the top, campy, because you can only laugh at that kind of stuff now. It's maybe 10 people get killed by sharks every year. I mean, when you think about how often people go in the water, it's just so statistically insignificant that whatever.
All right, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a newer one, I guess.
Okay.
I think that Pulp Fiction does not need to be
remade. Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction, that's one. Yep.
I mean, you just never get as good performances out of anybody replacing those characters like that.
Right, and the not necessarily the twist of the movie, but the structure of it. You can't recapture that, and just doing the same beats over again. It's that was so, out of, against the rules of writing, cinematic writing. You don't do that. It's not what makes a movie, work. But he figured out a way to make it all come together in a satisfying, ending. And again, the different storylines and how they interact with each other and conclude. It's you kind of lose that when you already know what you're getting when you're coming into it.
Yeah. Mike, get another one?
Not really.
Okay.
I can't think of anyone in particular.
Tony, got any more?
Not specifics, but I think any horror movie that had to deal with like kids or teens.
Sixth Sense.
No. Well, I mean,
It's just like the twist. I'm just saying the twist. Don't
Friday
do
the
But I was
13th or
gonna-
something.
I was gonna say like anything that revolves around like basically people being isolated or just separated or whatnot. Because it's like again, back in the day, it was fun because cell phones weren't really
Oh, you
a popular thing. But like nowadays, it's right, exactly. It's just like it's like, oh man, I'm like our car broke down. Like
on the fact that
it's like
Although,
oh look, called Geico, like or
Let's grab an Uber and get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
although if you've ever been to the town where Friday the 13th was filmed, which I am a bit, a lot of that it's a dead zone.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. Your phone does not work there.
no, and that's fine, but it's just like
I
I
know.
know. Writing too.
you'd
It's like
have to do,
hopefully
like it's
excuses and
you
stuff.
have to write those contrivances and it's kind of like roll your eyes kind of thing. So that's why I just don't feel like any of those types of movies would do like that. And even like a modern one, like let's say like Scream. It's not like a monster movie, but it's a slasher movie. Like I think even that's kind of hurt with like everybody has cell phones these days. It's like you can't just a killer just can't like sneak away without people recording it on their phones and just like
It's definitely interesting to see the evolution of the horror film because now it's
Right.
like Friend Me is a thing, is a horror
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
or something or whatever.
was it Friend List or
The friend list, yeah, something like that.
related
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I think.
thing. I got a bunch more. I can throw out one.
all right, go
Sorry,
ahead.
another one. Yeah, I'm pretty much out. So go ahead.
Schindler's List. I don't think needs to get remade.
That's what I thought of when you said Shawshank Redemption. I'm like, well, yeah, Schindler's List too.
Yeah.
And I have The Wizard. I think is a very of its time. You can't
Oh.
capture that
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if you could or not anymore. You're right. Like that's a
because
tough.
like video games are so.
It would
like,
be about Fortnite. Fortnite
Well,
2.
that's the thing. Is like it's so video games are so entwined in our
They're more-
culture now.
They're more mainstream, yeah, than they were. So yeah,
Right.
yeah. I guess you're right. So and you can't. How are you gonna capture that Fred Savage performance? You can't. So
California.
yeah. So all right. What else? Anybody else? Good. I think it's gonna.
I just have one more.
Go, give me one more.
Actually, a very much more modern one. And I love this movie, and that's the only reason I put it on here. Is The Arrival, with Amy Adams. Have you guys seen any of you seen it?
No, I think it's on my list though.
Okay. I highly recommend
remember
going
you
into it
talked
as
about that,
blind
yeah.
as possible. So I'm not going to say anything about it. I just think that this movie is a fantastic film that you should go in knowing nothing about the movie.
Oh, okay.
And that is all.
I don't know if I've seen it. That's the problem. Like I know I've heard of it. I just don't know if I've seen it. So, but yeah. So no Descent remake.
Nah, I love The Descent. You know that.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's not on. That wasn't on my list. That's a good one though. I don't think they can because they tried. They tried to make another one.
I know they
It
did.
didn't really.
Yeah. Yeah. So all right, it's gonna wrap up. What are we at? 465.
That was more about the ending though. That movie.
Yeah, that's true. We're at 465. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allgeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allgeek. Like us on Facebook. You're watching this on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it.
Comment in the comments.
Comment,
Give us
yeah.
some movies.
Comment.
Feedback.
Feedback would be awesome to hear. I'd love to hear what you guys think should not be remade. It's a very, I guess, slightly controversial topic. You can maybe not. Maybe you agree with us. Let us know. Thanks again. See you guys next week.